Alrighty, so if you've been using your spear guns, for the last 6 to 12 months and you've actually been getting out diving, shooting a number of fish, there's a few certain things that you've got to look at that may need replacing. So the first one could be your bridle. So your bridles can start to wear, and that can be affected by if you're loading your shaft into your spear gun and the notches are clipping the bridle, or if you're adjusting the bridle in the notch, which we don't recommend. When you load your gun, load that bridle into the notch, and if it's a little bit uneven, it's not going to make a difference. So your bridles are one thing that you've got to keep an eye on, because the last thing you want to do is go out for a dive and one of your bridles snaps and then you can't use your spear gun. The other one is your mono or your cable shooting line. So if you're using a gun that's got mono shooting line, I highly recommend buying some spare mono and crimps. After a while, if you've been shooting a few fish and sometimes if you string a fish, it'll twist up on the line. And what can happen, the way the roller mechanism works is the roller basically comes up and engages on the sear. If your mono is twisted on top of your shaft, so if you look back where the shaft goes into the mechanism and your mono looks like it's all twisted up, sometimes that can actually stop the shaft from being engaged in the sear properly. So you want to just make sure that your mono is always fresh and new, and replace that regularly. It'll also save you from losing maybe that fish of a lifetime if it breaks. For those guys doing blue water and using the Vendetta double roller, please buy extra cable. It is an absolute must. A dogtooth tuna taking a few floats down will stretch that cable, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. But the reason obviously we use cable is because if that dogtooth reefs you up, at least you'll be able to get all your gear back. But you want to be changing that regularly. As soon as it starts curling up or pigtailing, swap it out. It takes you about 5 minutes on the boat, but it's definitely something you should have with you if you're doing those big blue water trips.